YouTube live stream, chatting with people about whatever.
Oh, that's sick. What are you talking about?
Got a few topics there, or anything people want to talk about.
Man, these are pretty cool.
Yep.
I got nothing going on, so
Want it?
might as well.
Sure.
You go here, or like you live around here?
I live in Hollywood.
Oh, okay.
I go to various places in LA.
Like you go to college. I've seen these like have you ever seen like Crowder with Crowder and stuff like that?
Yeah, I've seen that.
That's awesome. Do aliens on set.
Nice. That's a fun one. So, yeah, welcome. Cool. Do you mind if I record and live stream?
Yeah, go ahead.
Thank you so much. My name is Reed.
Nice to meet you. My name is Tyler.
Tyler?
You could call me Ty.
Gotcha. Want to do headphones? It's a little easier to hear. Check. What's up?
Oh, hello.
Hey.
Oh, sweet.
Yeah, so welcome, to my table. You haven't seen me here before?
No, I haven't. This is first time I'm just coming out of finishing my exam for Soc. So.
For Soc?
Yeah.
What was that class exactly?
Sociology.
Sociology.
I was studying psychology, but I'm on the golf team here, and sociology is a little easier, so
Okay.
I just recently switched that.
Cool. Golf team. How's the golf games going around?
Pretty good, man. I've been grinding, getting ready for season in January when it starts back up.
Well, golf season's in I guess California golf season, that makes sense.
Yeah, I mean, technically it's all year round,
Okay.
but here, because of the weather, the main reason I came here, you practice all year round, so it's nice.
Nice. What are your favorite courses around here?
Hillcrest. I shot the course record out there. I shot 63 at Hillcrest.
No
and
way.
Then, and then like 2 weeks later, I shot 64. So I'd have to say that's probably my favorite course out here.
Makes sense.
That and then Sherwood, Thousand Oaks.
Okay.
Pretty nice.
All right. Yeah. I just do like Top Golf whenever I go to like Vegas or something. That's as far as I go.
No, Top Golf's fun. I like going to Top Golf,
Yeah.
bringing some friends and stuff. So.
Yeah. That's fun times. Aliens, is that what we want to talk about?
Yeah, we're talking about aliens.
Fun topic. Any time constraints? I have a timer there if you want.
Oh, no.
Doesn't matter to me.
I'm good. I got nothing going on.
Awesome. Is a question like, there's kind of two broad questions usually for this. It's like, have aliens visited in the ancient past, or have they visited in the? That's what I'm interested in, like the
Modern era.
modern era. Or it's kind of a boring question to think, do they exist at all? And they haven't visited yet, but do they exist?
That's crazy. I think, I don't know, my perspective, because I'm in a physics class right now, and it's like space and weather science and stuff, and they say space is never ending. So to me personally, you look at it and you're like, oh, there's all those galaxies. You're going to tell me there's not one planet out there that's like Earth out of billions and trillions.
Mm-hmm.
And they say the Earth's 13.6, or the universe is 13 point whatever, and we're only like a little blip in the universe. So to me, I think there's got to be other civilizations that started up, millions of years before even Earth was thought of. So I think they're out there, just maybe haven't ran into them yet.
Okay, yeah. What about the visited claims, either ancient or modernly?
Personally, I believe in it just because, you look at the pyramids, you look at all that stuff, and I know people could be like, oh,
The ancient claim?
Yeah.
Which one do you believe more, modern or ancient?
I believe the ancient more than anything.
More ancient.
Yeah, because I can imagine some super advanced civilization finding Earth and then being like, oh, we could give them a little kickstart, a little boost, and then we took it to what it is now.
Yeah, that's aliens as an answer to this related question, how did ancient human civilizations either build such complex structures or just get started in general, and aliens is one question for that, one answer.
Yeah, I think a lot of creativeness and stuff comes from alien stuff like that. Or I was watching this podcast, and it was saying how back then a lot of, I don't know, they were taking mushrooms are hallucinogenics, and then next thing you know, they think they're seeing all this stuff, and they come up with like crazy creative ideas, and then you get a whole civilization on it, and then a bunch of people doing things. I feel like that's how you could also make a big leap, and then
that's an alternative hypothesis for how civilization could get going like that.
Yeah, I would think so, because like say back then they were taking drugs and they had no idea that they were doing it. Seeing all the crazy stuff, and then they might write that down and be like, oh, it was out of this world, like. But
yeah,
I feel like it just depends. I haven't looked into it too much, but.
Okay, so if all the way to the right black is absolutely yes, aliens have visited Earth in some time in the past, or not sure, or absolutely no, where's your current confidence about it?
Oh, I think they definitely have, without
Definitely
a doubt.
have? Is it like all the way to the right for you?
All the way to the right.
Do you have your own there if you want?
Oh yeah, definitely going all the way to the right.
All the way to the right. All right. What is the thing that gets you to that level of confidence? What's the main reason why?
Just because over the years of like human civilization, we've made such like vast advancements, and then also, if you think about it, like society and stuff, like me being in a sociology class, like I look a lot at like society and like the higher ups, not to sound like a conspiracy theorist, but like there would be like a big panic if people maybe felt threatened or something. And then there's like two different theories that back then, like the church and religion was created in order to have like one unity between everyone, because everyone may look at each other and be like, oh, we look a little different, so they'll have like racial arguments or whatever. But if you bring something from out of this world, now everyone's like, okay, we're on the same team, we're on the same planet, now we have to work together to fight them. So there's a thing that like maybe we've already been visited by aliens, but they don't want like people to panic, so they tell them, oh, there's no aliens, this and that, because they know. And then they're waiting for, maybe when things get too bad, that they'll release it, and then everyone, like, joins together. I don't know, it's like a weird thought, but.
I'm trying to track the reason. I think what I'm hearing is it's a sociological reason about society, and I'm still not sure where aliens comes into this.
Okay, here, I'll clarify what I was saying, because I was kind of rambling there and just like, okay, what I think is that the government and stuff, like, they use aliens for a number of reasons. They don't...
Real aliens.
Yeah,
or merely as like a cover.
Or I think real aliens.
Real aliens.
I think they have real aliens, and they just haven't told anyone about it because they're using it for maybe if something drastic happens, or say like a World War III happens and things start getting destroyed, then you're like, okay, we'll tell people that aliens are real, and then they'll make like a fake invasion. Aliens are working with us.
It's like a backup plan for World War III to distract people?
I don't know, I just kind of thought of that on the fly right there.
Okay.
That'd be kind of cool.
That would be interesting. That's a good reason to think aliens have visited Earth? Because it could be used as a backup plan?
Or no, I think they've already visited Earth, but
in the
we don't know.
Past.
Yeah, but we don't know about it because they don't want to cause like a big uproar, so they keep it on the DL, and then if they have to...
The aliens themselves? Or human governments?
I think governments are already communicating.
They're already communicating?
Yeah.
Okay. Is that true?
I don't know. I think so, though.
What's the best evidence for that?
The best evidence for that? Let me think. I don't know. It's like I don't know, I watch all those old TV shows, and it's like, they draw cows. It's like a meme thing, too. They draw cows because they see them, and then they draw spaceships because they saw them. So, I mean, they kind of put it right there. And then some of, like, the equipment that we have nowadays, like, we can't even move, like, the structures back then. So it's like, yeah, even if you got 10,000 guys, it's like, how'd you get them all to work together, do it for free, get beat while they were doing it,
Like the pyramids?
Yeah, and it's like, if there was so many, like, people that were forced to do it, I just don't see why they wouldn't all work together and take out the people that are making them do it.
How did aliens help that situation?
Oh, that's what I think that, like, that's not possible for everyone, like a whole society, to work together and create and make something like the pyramids. So I think that's why aliens came down.
How did the aliens build the pyramids?
Oh, I don't know. They probably had some like advanced technology, like zero gravity stuff.
Like they're just like gravitating blocks and putting them in a pyramid style.
I don't know. I mean, I feel like an advanced civilization, if they came down, say, I mean, we're only like 4.6 billion years old, like Earth. So, I mean, say there was a planet or civilization that started like 12 billion years ago.
Yeah.
You know, they probably got some stuff that like we'd never even heard of or thought of. And, you know, I could just imagine like the technology, imagine where we would be in, you know, another 10 billion years.
Mm-hmm. Is this claim testable in any way? What would cause you to revise your confidence about it if you discovered something? What would you need to see to revise your confidence about it?
I don't know. I feel like it's one of those things that's like, to believe it, or... Man, I'm just like digging myself a deeper hole. This is such a hard conversation to have.
Yeah.
I'm not going to lie.
It's fun.
I think that if someone already believes something, it's going to be hard to persuade them unless they can see it with their own eyes and see like actual results, because you know, everyone's going to have that internal bias if they already believe it, so they'd have to see it in order to change that around. So I mean, unless, you know, there was some actual way that we could know, say we found like some big excavator, some ancient excavator that maybe they were moving to move the bricks, then I'd be like, oh, okay, that's pretty legit. Like if you could fire that sucker up and still move, you know, bricks that big, then, you know, more power to them. But I don't know. They look at them.
Yeah. If we had an alternative explanation for how just regular human beings could make pyramids and stuff like that, that would make the aliens hypothesis less likely, and that would mean they didn't really likely visit in the past.
Well, I think maybe then that would just lead me to believe that, you know, the pyramids were created by humans, and then maybe we are just here by luck.
You know? Yeah, if we had explanations for how stuff like the pyramids could be built, where would your confidence go?
Oh, confidence would probably be, I mean, you're talking like stuff, because I'm talking about like, you know, like Easter Head Island and stuff like that, like those big causes that people don't know where they came from or how they built them way back then.
Okay. So any questions like that, any strange things that we see in the past that we think aliens caused it, and we found alternative explanations for all of that, where would your confidence be then?
Then my confidence would probably be like middle, because then I'd still have that doubt that, you know, the universe is like infinite and there's millions of galaxies.
And this is for the claim aliens have visited Earth.
Well then, no, it'd be down here. I don't think that they'd visit Earth if you can explain that stuff.
So it's really all about aliens causing or having some type of influence with all of that stuff, like the pyramids and the other Easter Island stuff.
Yeah, I think that it's more of like they kick-started Earth if they did visit.
Kick-started Earth and human civilization?
Yeah, so what I'm saying is, if you had an explanation for the pyramids that made, you know, like common sense, and it had like a whole blueprint, and you were able to go through the steps of how they did it, then I wouldn't think that aliens visited. But because there's no real explanation on how all those things were built, I think that, you know, maybe in the past or something, an alien civilization that was going around maybe looking for a different planet.
If aliens are the best explanation, what's the second best explanation?
For how they'd like create those things?
That doesn't have anything to do with aliens.
Like how they created that stuff?
Yeah, how they could come to be, you know.
Man, I mean, I would just think it would take a lot of manpower, and then, you know, religion's a huge thing. I feel like religion is the motivator behind all. It's the only thing that bonds anyone, really. And
so religious humans in the past?
Yeah, maybe back then, you know, such a strong religious belief, so many people coming together.
They
and
just
then
maybe thought their pharaoh was a god or something and wanted to... Are they tombs? Is that what they are? It's like, I think that's what they
like
are.
the Sphinx, and yeah, they're like tombs. I think they bury the pharaohs in there. They like create them. for the pharaohs.
So that's one hypothesis. Religious humans wanting to either by force or like just by religious reasons, building big temples and pyramids and stuff.
Yeah, I think they did it for religious reasons. And there's really two reasons, I think, that I'm, in the middle of, and I'm not sure. One would be religious reasons, which is the one that makes the most sense because we have the most proof. And then, maybe aliens or something.
Mm-hmm.
But
okay. I'm still wondering how that alien situation works.
I mean,
are they interacting with ancient humans?
Yeah, I think
and
so.
And they're building a pyramid.
Like, they come down and visit. Everyone looks at them like they're gods because they got all this technology and stuff. And then...
Okay. It's like the humans aren't building a pyramid as a monument to aliens. It's like the aliens are helping the humans build a pyramid?
Or, I don't know, maybe the aliens needed the pyramid to, like, accomplish something, maybe get more power or energy. So there's, like, theories that it conducts heat or energy and electrical currents. But I think...
How did the aliens get to Earth without, like, an energy source that the pyramids would help with them with that?
See, and I don't know, that's the thing, like, maybe there's a bunch of what ifs,
Yeah.
I'm kind of... I'm just kind of spitting a bunch of BS that
I mean, it's all about, hypotheses, just guessing and explanations. But once we have some hypotheses on the table, I like to brainstorm how we could test the hypotheses. But that's a whole conversation to go down. If you see me again, we'd love to continue.
Yeah, I mean, I got nothing going on. If you want to do maybe another conversation, something that I'm actually more knowledgeable about, because this is kind of BS that I'm saying. You know what I mean? I'm not really...
Fine. So where you started all the way to the right, where are you now with it?
Just because I haven't seen any proof, like, I still believe that they...
You still believe they have visited in the ancient past?
I'm a big conspiracy theory guy, so...
It's a conspiracy. And that is a type of conspiracy. Mm-hmm. The aliens in the past building civilizations and pyramids.
Yeah.
What's another interesting conspiracy theory?
Oh, that I believe in?
Yeah.
Man, I was thinking a lot about, like, sometimes, like, we're living in virtual reality. Like, sometimes, there's multiple universes, or I'm not sure exactly what the conspiracy theory is, but I don't know, I believe in, like, manifestation. I believe in, like, people can really control things around them. And
what does that mean?
Like, I don't know, I believe people can accomplish and do whatever they want if they truly believe it, like, enough, and they actually have, some type of skill to back it up. And I feel like the world is just meant for people who, I don't know how to explain it, like, that cheesy thing, like, everyone's born with a gift. Like, I believe, like, that's, like, a true thing. I believe that the world is, maybe not rigged or fake or anything, but there's, like, a weird law that, if you can find out your passion or your gift that you're good at, and if you actually, have a goal in mind and ambition to accomplish it, I feel like people can actually do whatever they want. But the biggest thing is people get in their own way, and, they get too caught up in results. They get too caught up in that rather than, enjoying, like, the process of doing it. People get too caught up in, like, oh, I want to be here, I want to be there. But back to how that makes this like a, simulation or fake, but I just believe that people have more control over things that they think they don't have control over.
Yeah, like, people have a gift and they have control over their destiny? That type of thing?
Like, I feel like sometimes people, they feel too sorry for themselves, and they look around and they're like, oh, all these bad things are happening, but, like, there's just basic things that people can do that no matter what, they won't fail.
Yeah, it's like, I guess two questions are interesting. Do people have gifts? And if they do have gifts, what is the source of that gift? What causes them to have gifts?
And that's crazy. You could go down a bunch of rabbit holes. I mean, I think people's environment, definitely. When people are really young, that's when they make the most improvement. I feel like that's when people are, everyone's just a product of their environment, where you grow up in. So if you grew up and say you had a niche for something and you like to do something when you were really young and you develop it, usually it's the thing that people pick up when they're young. I mean, later on in life, you'll hear people like, oh, I found out that I had this gift and I'm a writer and I started publishing at 30 years old. But a majority of the time, there's like this thing. I met this guy and he was like he's like an entrepreneur, but he was saying, that first thing, most of the time, like the dreams that people have when they're a kid are dreams that they can actually accomplish. But other people, get their kick stomping on a dream, so they tell people, oh, you can't do that, you can't do this. Where, like, I just think like people's imaginations actually can control things around them and like their own destiny and their luck.
People's imaginations can control things around them?
Yeah, like their confidence, what they believe. Like, I don't know, for me, it's just playing sports. I've kind of noticed weird things because I started playing when I was really young, and my dad was huge on like manifestation. So when I was younger, he'd have me like do all these things, and it was weird because it would actually happen, and it didn't seem like I was, putting in like.
What do you mean by manifestation?
Like my dad would be like, oh, think about what you want to do, like in your next tournament. Think about how you want to play. Like develop a plan from, forward to backward, and then replay it in your mind over and over, and imagine like the feeling. And then after a while, like it just became a habit, like walking around throughout the day. Like my mind would never be blank. It would always be focused on one thing that was a big goal, and then I would slowly like accomplish these other things that I didn't even know I was accomplishing because I was so focused on one goal. I'm not sure if that's hard work or something, but to me it was fun doing it because I was so involved in like I wasn't looking at like results. I was so like day to day. I feel like just daydreaming.
Yeah, there's like a strong version of manifestation potentially, or in a less strong. It's like merely because you thought it, you made it happen. Like you made reality change merely because of your thoughts, or like a weaker version of manifestation. It's just, you just visualized it, you made a plan, you had all that going into it, and that increased your chances of it actually happening.
Yeah, I believe that. Like
the second
exactly how you said it. I believe that if you have a plan in place and you actually just go through the days, because it's, okay, here's like the best way I can explain it is no matter what, like everyone walking around here is like pretty smart, and I guarantee you that when they were younger, they never liked going to school, but they still woke up and, on the days they didn't want to go to school, they were still able to drag themselves through like, oh, some worksheets, going through the motions. Well, just because they were going through the motions and constantly doing something every day, and saying like, oh, there's a test coming up, so they're constantly thinking about school and stuff. Naturally, just being a product of the environment you're in, being at school and having other people manifest this like thing for you, like, oh, I want you to be smart, I want you to know how to read, write, and do this. Well, I didn't make that up. Government that made the laws and forced me to go to school made that up. So at the end of high school or whatever, everyone can read, write, everyone can do everything. Well, that to me is like a pretty good explanation of anyone can do anything and get decent at it. If you wanted to be, let's say, a writer or something, if you told yourself every day, okay, whether I like it or not, I'm going to wake up and I'm going to work, I'm going to write from 7:30 to 2:30, exactly how you were forced to do when you went to school. If you had that same mentality of, oh, I just got to do it, and you go do it, you'll get good at anything you do. I'd bet money on it. You could say that you've never golfed in your life and you suck at golfing, but if you show up every day from 7:30 to 2:30 and you have a semi-plan in place and somewhat of a goal, it's one of those things, like shooting for the stars, you land on the moon, you're still above everyone else. That's like the best way I can explain it, is in people have total control over what they do. They just don't have the mental ability to, or no, not that. They don't have the discipline to sit down and say, like, is this helping me or is it not? They do it, and the definition of stupidity is to do the same thing, like over and over and expect different results. So,
yeah. So we were talking about gifts, and I think I'm hearing you say people just have gifts naturally, and then through discipline, they can develop that gift.
Yeah.
Yeah. And through potentially manifestation is one way to do that, which is making a plan and visualizing.
Mm-hmm.
And that's
I call
a
it manifestation.
Manifestation. Okay.
I mean, because I've had some times where like I would really close my eyes and I would imagine like everything about the day. Like before I'd go to bed before a tournament, I'd be like, man, like it's gonna be nice, sunny tomorrow. You know, it's gonna be around like noon when I make the turn. I'm gonna be at this, and then there's been times where that very next day I wake up and I'm out there and I'm like, holy shit, like word for word, exactly what I explained that was gonna happen today happened.
Your expectation met reality exactly.
Yeah, and it's like kind of funny how it perfectly happens. Like I'll imagine, you know, something, and it's like, say you have a downhill putt, you know, like right to left, and it's 10 feet. And then it's so weird. The next day I'll be out there and I'll have a downhill putt that's like right to left 10 feet. And then it's like, wow, like and then you just have that weird confidence because you're like, I've already thought about making this in bed for the last 2 days. And so then it just gets rid of all like, I don't know, it just naturally happens.
It lets you be more comfortable with the situation.
Yeah. So I think visualization's huge.
Gotcha.
Especially when you hear it from like every other athlete and everything. And especially in businesses too.
Yeah. Is there a limit to manifestation for what people can do? Like if someone wanted to manifest, they could fly off a building.
I think
I assume that would not work.
I think to an extent. I think you have to have a little bit. You also got to be a creative person to think outside the box, because I feel like, you know, everyone gets too caught up in too seriousness. You know, like for instance, like I was saying, like, you know, Stomp's kicking on a dream. Like that's something, for instance, like my grandpa would say. You know, he's real old school. He'd be like, oh, you know, you can't do that. Well, you know, if he was like, oh, well, then I'd like to see you go fly. Well, what if I made, you know, what if I became a millionaire and I bought a jet and I could fly wherever I want? See, so I mean, I feel like that's the power of the imagination, thinking outside the box. Like there's always a way to do everything. You know, you hear usually the difference between like a CEO and a guy that like is a worker is a guy that as a worker would go up to, or a guy that's like a manager would go up and be like, hey, can you do this? And they'd be like, oh, there's no way I can do it. And then they'd be like, oh, okay. And then, you know, the guy that's the guy that runs Ford Motor Companies would go up to him and say, hey, can you get this done? And the guy would say no, and he'd say, okay, I need it done next week. And it would still get done, just because people
found a way.
People put a limit on themselves, you know. If you take a flea that has a 36-inch vertical and you put it in a 12-inch jar and it has kids, that kid's going to live its whole life thinking it's only got a 12-inch vertical. So I feel like everyone puts a ceiling on themselves because, I mean, it's like crabs. You know, when crabs are trying, if you put a bunch of crabs in a bucket, the one that's close to getting out, all the other crabs will pull them down because they don't want them to get out. So, I mean...
Yeah, how to fulfill your own potential and not limit yourself. Another interesting question. Good stuff, though. I think it's close to where I'm about to wrap up.
Yeah.
Thank you, Ty. I'd like to offer one of these little blue, red, or yellow puzzle pieces. Feel free to pick a color, and if you see me again, we'd love to chat again.
Oh, all right. Sounds good.
Thank you, man.
If I'm out here again and I see you...
Yeah.
I know we've been on a lot of tangents there. I was getting lost.
No worries. It was fun, though.
Yeah, I know, Mike. It was nice meeting you.
Nice meeting you.
You have a good one.
Thanks.